Еще раз здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте.
Сегодня в Кыргызстане бизнес-среда страдает из-за пандемии и политической нестабильности. Какие срочные меры необходимо предпринимать в Кыргызстане, чтобы поддержать предпринимателей?
Some have gone bankrupt, some have not been able to work since April, others have not been able to pay their staff, others have not been able to trade or do their business properly. So it's a huge effect both to the economy but also to individual businesses. So I think that the government has to do everything it can within its own resources to stimulate employment, to stimulate the retention of jobs, and also to make measures easier, better for entrepreneurs to create new jobs. But I think the government needs to be looking seriously about extending tax holidays, looking at what it can do in terms of social payments, how it can make it cheaper for business to enable them to survive. Because if this is not done, more companies will go bankrupt and it will be even more difficult to recover the economy in the future.
Почему госслужащие трактуют законы в пользу государства, а не предпринимателей, как вы считаете?
So I think on some occasions there is pressure from higher up the organisation or from the government to raise money for the state budget. I think there are occasions where individuals are scared of making the wrong decision and fear they may be held accountable for or they may face disciplinary action or legal action for making a decision. And I think we have to accept in Kyrgyzstan, as I suspect in every country in the world, there are civil servants who are not working in the best interests of the country or of business, but who are corrupt and who are looking at ways to enrich themselves. And where there are such cases, it is important for any government to show that the rule of law prevails, that people will be held responsible and accountable in a transparent due process before the law.
Какие проблемы в налоговом законодательстве Кыргызстана вы заметили? Опыт какой страны мы можем применить?
So I think the main point is that the whole administration of tax, where Kyrgyzstan sits currently at 117th in the World Bank Ease of Doing Business rankings on tax administration, and aspires to be in the top 40 or 50 within a couple of years, to achieve that there needs to be a rapid simplification of processes. And in terms of which countries could be an example for Kyrgyzstan, well, I think it's important to look at a range of countries, to be honest, and to then take best practice from a few of them and look at how you can implement a system that is relevant for Kyrgyzstan. I think that in almost any country, tax administration and understanding tax is complex. So this is never going to be something that is very easy. But reforms to simplify it, speed up and make quicker, maybe along the lines of what Georgia has done. I'm a big fan of the reforms that Georgia has introduced in the last sort of 15 years generally. Actually, I think they're a good example, but there may be others. Estonia has done great things, for example, in terms of digitization. And I think a lot of the reforms that the government here should be introducing in terms of simplification, not just in tax, should be around speeding up digitization so that citizens can engage with the state more easily on their telephone, by computer, and make it quicker, cheaper, and also avoid some of the instances where corrupt practices can occur.
В Кыргызстане актуален вопрос вывода экономики из тени. Как вы считаете, бизнес в Кыргызстане сейчас готов работать открыто?
I'm sure that not all business is, but it's an essential step for the economy here. It's obviously cheaper for companies to operate in the grey economy and not pay tax. And I think the way for any government to do this, what businesses want is to know that if they pay taxes properly, those taxes are going to be used effectively by the state and that they will get the benefit of it, whether that's in terms of better provision of roads or services for the company, or using that money to make it easier for them to export their goods, or they need to know that the money is being used fairly and properly. And if they do that, that is going to help them realise that there is a benefit to them in the longer term, that by paying taxes they can the state can help improve not just the services but the business and the investment environment, and that will have a benefit for companies and all their employees. And I think at the minute, given the really difficult economic situation and the crisis that many companies are facing, many of them will not be able to afford a high tax rate at present. So the government has to think not only about the arguments, but also how they can ensure that the taxes that people coming in from the grey economy face are affordable and sustainable. It is not in anybody's interests to bring companies from the grey economy into a fully legal economy and then tax them so heavily that they cease trading because they can't do business.
Обращались ли к вам горнорудные компании после политической дестабилизации? И готовы ли вы защищать их интересы в выплате ущерба со стороны государства?
As we know, unfortunately, many mining companies have had their premises attacked, they've been robbed, others have been threatened, and many of them have, as a result of this, not been able to continue their business. It's important, first of all, that the situation is stabilised enough for them to start work again. So I welcome the government's statements that they will offer more protection to mining companies. And of course, the action that's been taken against mines is not something that falls within my mandate to investigate complaints, because it is not private business complaining about actions of the state. This is other citizens or local groups who've largely caused the problems, it seems to me. Nonetheless, obviously what has happened has had a large impact on Kyrgyzstan's reputation internationally, and trying to help improve the business and investment climate is part of my additional remit, if you like. And I think, again, this is something that the government needs to look at to help that process of explaining to local citizens and the region the benefits of investment, the job creation, the benefits to the wider economy, to the local economy, and how they can ensure that environmental concerns are protected. And I think, and I've discussed this with government in the past, the most successful countries in attracting investment have been those that have succeeded in presenting a good investment climate with incentives for business to come in. Investors are going to play a key role in a successful economy for the country.